When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Stu Baca, and I'm a Gen X grown-up, and I support Gen X GrownUp on Patreon, and you should too at patreon.com/Gen X GrownUp.
GenXGrownUp is a YouTube channel, website, and audio podcast you're listening to right now. All made for and by people who love exploring media, games, tech, and toys of yesterday and today through the eyes of Gen Xers who refuse to grow up. Your dinner cannot just be French fries. Basically, life sucks as a grown-up. Welcome back, Gen X Grown Up podcast listener, to this backtrack edition of the Gen X Grown Up podcast. I am John. Joining me, as always, of course, is Mo. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
You know, it's not a show without George. How you doing, George?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
In this episode, we're turning back the dial to 1985 when Phil Collins ruled the charts with his smash hit album, No Jacket Required. Packed with iconic tracks like Sussudio and One More Night, this record didn't just dominate radio, it helped define the sound of an era. We'll dig into the making of the album, its massive commercial success, and why it still sparks conversation and maybe a little air drumming nearly 4 decades later. This is one I know we said on the last episode we were looking forward to for a while. George was watching the calendar. When did 85 roll around? So we can get to No Jacket Required. We're going to walk through this entire album, every track on the album, and talk about that. But first, it's time for some fourth listener email. Anytime one of our fourth listeners drops us a line, we like to feature them here. And the fourth listener this episode is Joseph W. The subject line of his email is malls. Okay. Here's what Joseph has to say. Is it funny, Mo? Is it malls?
Just when you said it was funny.
Okay.
Malls.
Having moved from Chicago to Dallas, Texas, I noticed the difference immediately when I went to the mall for the first time here in Dallas. Now, similar to Mo, I have no recollections of any mall in the city of Chicago. Instead, we always went to a specific store, whether it be Sears, the dime store, etc. When we moved here to Texas and went to the Sears store, I noticed there were other stores attached to it, but my parents would not go in there because all those stores are too expensive. It definitely was a totally different culture. Eventually, I did get to go in the mall. Thank you for bringing back good memories. So another victim of the big city no malls, Mo.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, there's many of us out there.
Yeah. So what are the stores that are outside of Sears that are too expensive? What's out there?
It's all the specialty stores, right?
I guess.
I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Hot Topic? I always thought of Sears as the expensive store. Maybe I thought backwards. Anyway. All right. Hey, Joseph, thank you for writing in. We're glad you enjoyed our backtrack all about the mall experience. Fourth listener, if you would like your email featured here on the show, you know it is drop dead easy. All you have to do is fire off an email to podcast@genxgrownup.com. Read every single email, of course, and most of them eventually make the show. All right. We get back from this quick break. We are going to drop No Jacket Required onto the turntable. Give it a listen. Stick around.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Gen X Grown Up. But if you have a friend who's not yet listening, why not? Tell them about us. They'll thank you later.
The reason the record is still special is just Phil's great songs. You know, I just helped him make his great songs into a record and sound good. Phil was very much into, right from when we started our sort of career, if you see what I mean, with Face Value, he was always sat next to me, next to the mixing console, wanted to know what this knob did or that knob, and he was into, you know, the technical side of it. He was really, you know, keen to do that. And it's one reason why his demos sounded great.
I'll tell you, in high school, if you caught me cruising in my pickup, going downtown to go to the movies or something, odds were pretty solid that I had at least one Phil Collins cassette in rotation in my cassette player in the truck. And one of them that we're talking about here today is probably the one that I remember the best because it came out right at the peak for me in high school. February 18th, 1985, Phil Collins released No Jacket Required in North America. And there are so many. It's one of those weird albums that, like, every track I remember well. It's not like, I've never heard this one or some weird track. They all had singles. They all had radio rotation. It's really crazy. Now, we're going to talk in this episode. No Jacket Required is a huge album. We're going to talk about how huge it was here in just a second. But in this particular podcast, we're talking about the one we remember as Gen Xers, the original 10 tracks that came out on the LP and the cassette in 1985. Now, there have been additional releases. There was a CD release that had a bonus track. There have been remasters that have more bonus tracks and added more things. We're going to talk about the 10 original tracks on Phil Collins' No Jacket Required. And let me tell you, those 10 are enough to fill the room. They are some great music on this album.
Yeah, John, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this, yeah. He said, actually, it's like I knew Phil Collins from Genesis. And then when this came about, it's like, I think this was the album that really just put him in my head as far as his music after Genesis. I know he had other albums before it, but this is when I think that just really kind of took it over the top for me.
For me too.
Yeah, it's a great album. No question. It's got a ton of great songs. It was when he was in his prime as a single artist. I think Face Value was what really declared his single status.
Okay. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then,
I get that.
Yeah. Especially within the Air Tonight on that album. But then you get this album, which has an interesting history. It's got the title for this album came from an actual incident.
Oh, really?
That Phil Collins experienced. So he was at a place called the Pump Room Restaurant in Chicago of Illinois. It's all kind of odd that we had that fan mail earlier about Chicago.
Right. Yeah.
But he was there with Led Zeppelin's lead singer, Robert Plant, who ended up getting denied entry into the restaurant because he didn't have a dinner jacket on.
Oh.
So, of course, No Jacket Required ended up being his kind of homage to that situation, because Collins said in an interview later on that that was the angriest he has ever been in his life. Now, all the things that man has been through, the fact that Robert Plant couldn't get into a restaurant was the angriest he's ever been is kind of surprising, but still, I think it's interesting to find out when albums have titles that don't seem to come from anywhere in particular, like they're not named after a particular song on the album maybe, or they don't have some obvious origin story. To me, that was very interesting when I found that out doing the research for this podcast, that just one of his buddies couldn't go into the restaurant with him because he didn't have a dinner jacket on, and that's how this album got its title.
I wonder if the person looks back and been like, I should have fired that guy. I mean, he didn't let the lead singer of Led Zeppelin in.
Right. What's wrong with you? Let this guy in. These are rock stars. They make our restaurant look higher cachet, right? So it's like a response to that. Like, we couldn't get in because there was a barrier. This album, No Jacket Required. Come on in. You're welcome. Right. It's almost like a flip of that. That's cool. I didn't know the story.
That's very cool.
That. Yeah. Where did we talk about before the show? Or it was we were talking about this episode last time, but you talked about a little bit of the cover art. You said back when all you had to do was throw your face on a record. Yeah. So this is, it's funny. This album is, again, and I'm sure if you're listening to this episode, you can probably look on just the special thumbnail for this episode, and there's probably an image of the album cover, and it's just Phil Collins' face, and this time it's kind of orange.
Yeah.
And he just keeps doing that. So he had just facial close-ups, start like face value, just his big face, like really big. Like you can't even see his hair, just like from his lips up to the top of his eyes, really big. This one was like lit up red or orange to emphasize it was hot, up-tempo nature of this album. So it's kind of a hotter one. There was an intermediary. What was the middle album? Face value was that But Seriously? Whatever. There's one in the middle. It's like a blue shot of his face. It just kept being shots of Phil Collins' face. And that's all he needed for albums. And apparently it was enough.
I mean, the first one kind of makes sense. Face value. Here's my face.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
And maybe he just said, you know what? Let's just go with that as a theme.
It worked.
This works. I don't have to put as much thought into it. Easily recognizable album cover. You can see it from across the room.
Yep. And look, Phil Collins' face was clearly selling. So I was like, let's do that again. That makes sense. We've learned that in YouTube. If that thumbnail works, do another thumbnail like that. So album cover is kind of the thumbnail for those records.
Yeah. And speaking of selling, I mean, this, obviously we said this album did extremely well. It was Collins' highest selling album, and it sold like 12 million copies by 2001.
Wow.
Where got that special diamond status when they used to actually count albums that you sold. Right. Which they don't do anymore.
Full records.
Because that's how the artist made money, is by selling albums. So, but yeah, 12 million copies. That's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was
great.
For obvious reasons. When we go through the tracks, you guys will understand why it sold 12 million albums. But the other way that artists make real money, because they don't really get a ton of money from those albums, they have to go on tour quite often in order to make their real money. The No Jacket Required World Tour actually ended up ending during the Live Aid concerts. And if you remember, Phil Collins, he performed at both Wembley, jumped on the Concorde, and went and performed at JFK Stadium as part of that concert package. So
I mean, you tell me about that.
It was interesting to me that this tour ended up tying in directly to that. I read a quote where he said it was just really this weird happenstance. He didn't have any plans on being in the Live Aid concerts, but then, circumstances, his tour ending right at the right moment and everything just made it possible for him to not only do the one in England, but also come to the US and do the same thing over here. So it's very cool. And there's videos on YouTube of both of his performances back to back. So, I mean, the guy, he went through the ringer just like Queen did on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me think, probably we saw at Live Aid, we saw Phil Collins at his most polished, because he just come off of tour and polished this set of songs, right?
Yeah,
he was really in his groove. So just accidentally well prepared for Live Aid makes it just an extra interesting weave in that fabric of this musical history. I love that.
One of the facts I found out doing research on this was like they actually had, Sting, Peter Gabriel doing background vocals on some of the songs, which I had no idea, to be honest, until I read about it here recently. And then,
they didn't advertise it. You'd think you'd advertise that, right?
Yeah, I think back in the day, you look at the jacket cover, I'm sure it says somewhere in backup vocals, Sting, just in small letters. But yeah, they really did make a big deal of it. But I guess that it seemed like the British singer community must have been pretty tight back then, that they could just grab these people.
I mean, Sting was doing background vocals on everybody's stuff. He was doing Phil Collins. He was doing Dire Straits. It was like, I don't have my own band anymore. I might as well go sing on other people's shit, apparently. Yeah. So I guess he was just bored or something. We might as well round out this segment with just the last little bit of numbers. So this album was so popular that it hit #1 on 12 different charts. I went and counted it up. 12 different charts that year, including, of course, the U.S. Billboard 200 album chart. So, I mean, to hit #1 on that many places across the globe is just crazy. That means your album is, that's like Michael Jackson Thriller kind of numbers, right? I mean,
right. You're not a regional success. You're like the planet knows who you are and is buying your album, right? It wasn't just me driving down the road in my pickup truck listening. It was just all over the damn world.
You made John's top 10.
You did. You certainly did. Man. Okay. Well, we've talked about the songs. It's time. We get back from this very quick break. We're going to jump in and we're going to walk through every song on side 1. Stick around. You don't want to miss this.
Hey, it's Paris. I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Be sure to subscribe to or follow Gen X Grown Up wherever you listen. And while you're there, rate and review the show too. It helps more than you know.
Well, it comes from years of spending vast sums of money in hotels for very nice rooms, mind you, but vast sums of money, and then not being considered adequate enough or fully dressed enough to go and eat in the restaurant or the bar. Because quite often, you spend $200 a night in New York for a hotel room, and they'll gladly take your money, but they won't let you go and have a drink in the bar unless you've got the correct jacket. I mean, I could walk in a jacket like this, say, and get a drink, and yet if I went in to the bar with a sort of £400 leather jacket, I would not get a look in at all. And it's happened to me on Robert Plant's tour a couple of times, and it's happened all over the world all over the time. So get it straight, hotel managers.
All right, we're going to kick off side one of this album. And let me tell you, if you don't know the song from the first 3 seconds of hearing it, then you don't know anything about 80s music. And of course, here I'm talking about Sussudio. I mean, come on, guys. This is probably, I think this was the biggest hit, wasn't it, of this album?
It was a number one, for sure.
Yeah. Man, the drum machine with that drum loop that I hadn't heard that much in pop music. I started to hear it, you heard it like in new wave stuff, but I hadn't heard that so much in pop music like this, rock. And the horns, just that, like the horn line, of course, being a band geek, and that makes me happy whenever there's, screaming trumpets up there, with the those horn hits and things. I love that in this song.
Did they ever do this in band? Is this a band song?
I don't know. I don't think I ever played it. I'm sure you could get the sheet music. Yeah.
What's funny is, I said it's a number one. Not just in the U.S. Billboard charts, but also Panama and Peru. Number one on their charts.
Oh, well, they got good taste.
Freaking New Zealand, only number 27. What the hell is wrong
what are they
with
doing?
all those New Zealand people down there?
It's New Zealand.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
What I found funny about this is that this one had a drum machine on it, where Collins played drums. So I'm like,
well, he's busy singing. He couldn't be
I guess so. But, it's just, it seemed like a weird thing to I wonder why he has a drum machine going. But it works, though. What can you say?
Yeah. And the theme is, for such an upbeat song, and you hear when this song kicks off, why they wanted this album with the red tint on his face. It's hot. It's almost like Latin music. It's like really in your face with the horns and the drums and everything. And for upbeat as it is, it's about this unrequited love.
Yeah.
She makes me nervous. She makes me scared. I don't know what to do, all that. And it's almost this weird juxtaposition of this upbeat music and a kind of longing.
I thought it was a great choice for the first song of an album, because back in the day, you put on side A, you put the needle on, and you just let it go. And or it's CD at this point though, but still though, it was listening to the song as a first song on an album, it just got you going, right? You were like, pumped. Oh, I'm ready for this album at this point.
Yep.
I mean, I think probably the most iconic part of the song, and obviously the drum machine and whatnot, but the word Sussudio, the title of the song.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember debating that with friends left, right, and center. I had friends who, oh yeah, that's a word from so-and-so, and that means this, and that means that. Totally made up bullshit word by Collins.
Oh, really?
And not only was that word made up and full of shit, but also he improvised most of the lyrics on this song during recording.
How do you do that? How does somebody do that?
I mean, talent. I don't have it, so
I know that sucks. It's just they
just say the word talent, and that means what they have.
Yeah, before I learned it didn't mean anything, I thought maybe it was like the woman's name. Because I feel so good when I say the word Sussudio. I'm like, it's a weird name, but I don't know who you know.
Well, they are obviously about a schoolboy's crush on a girl.
Yeah.
So that part makes I could see why you think that might be her. She's got some weird English name. She goes goes to like an English boarding school. You can make up a whole backstory.
Of course.
For this
and
girl.
I did. In my head, right?
John was in love with her already.
It feels like when I just say the word, it's her name, but it wasn't her name at all. It was just Sussudio. But it makes for an awesome rock song. And you're right, Mo. Great way to kick off this album. Whew. Okay, so move along to the next one. The next track on side one, once you cool down from Sussudio, is this is one that is a cover song of a 1970 Dave Mason song, but as far as I'm concerned, Collins owns it here on No Jacket Required. Only You Know and I Know. So this is a little bit of a tone shift for this album. We go from this really rock song, and then we have, it was more about longing and everything, and then you come to this Only You Know and I Know that is more about a long-lasting relationship between people. I mean, it could be lovers, probably in the case of this. It could certainly be, long-time friends. I think it's more suggested as probably lovers. But it's a much deeper kind of song to move in on the second track here, and I always found it to be a welcome but interesting shift from I expected a couple of rock songs in a row, and then this more melodic thing that's a little deeper, and I appreciated that.
It's not one of the more popular, well-known tracks from the album. That part I'm sure about. But if you were a fan of Collins, you didn't listen to just what was on the radio.
Right.
You picked up the cassette tape like John did, stuck it in your car, and you listened to these tracks over and over again. So those tracks became familiar to real fans, but not necessarily to the casual, easy pop listener, maybe. I think this song was probably my least favorite of the album, but that's not to say it wasn't great. I like all the songs on the album, but if I'm going to rank them, this is probably around number 8 through 10 for me on the album.
Okay, maybe a little higher for me, but yeah. I like it's like in the lyrics when you listen to them, if you read them, they talk about this couple who has a shorthand for things that are often unsaid. It's like there's this and there's these things and we don't say that, but you know and I know exactly what we're talking about. You understand me. And it's like that kind of like that soulmate or that kind of like that deep friendship relationship thing that it doesn't play so well on the radio. It's not easy to get into and dance. It's not about how hot you look in short pants, right? It's like, it's a thoughtful, intellectual connection that I guess that's why I always kind of elevate Collins' music, because you get all sorts of angles into relationships on his albums, not just the superficial.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with George. This isn't like one of my favorite songs in the album, but you have to admit, it's catchy.
It is.
Like the lyric is like very, it's like very like, wow, that's a catchy tune there. Like when I say I'm playing this album, I'm not gonna sit there and try to get it to skip. I'm gonna let it play through and be quite happy doing that.
Yeah, happy with it. Well, up next is another little shift going into the next track, right, George?
Yeah. So the next track on the album, track number 3, is probably starts off as being one of the more haunting songs on the album. There's a couple of them here, but this definitely is one of the top ones. It's Long, Long Way to Go.
Ooh.
So it would seem we still got a long, long way to go. I've seen all I want to see today.
Now, we talked a little bit earlier about Sting singing some backing vocals on this album. This is one of the 2 songs that he sang on.
Yeah.
This is also one that he and Phil Collins performed at Live Aid as part of that concert in England, not over in the U.S. because Sting, he ain't traveling like that. But still, I think what the departure point for this song on the album for me is that organ starting at the very beginning of the song. Just
it's haunting.
Just that. Like, I was like, am I about to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey? What the fuck is going on when I first heard that song? But it breaks down. It has like a vibe that I would have expected to see this in a bunch of different like movies or TV shows or something along like that lines. And it was actually in a Miami Vice episode.
That fits.
Okay.
Yeah, Phil Collins himself was on Miami Vice.
I swear to God, I was about to say, it sounds like something here on Miami Vice, and then you beat me to that comment. That's unbelievable. Perfect fit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an episode called Sons and Lovers, so I need to go back and watch that episode because I don't remember it. I just learned that doing the research for this podcast, but I know that Phil Collins was very close to Jan Hammer, and they did a lot of work together on that series, so to hear that this song was in that episode was no big surprise.
Sure.
Yeah, and from re-listening to it to get ready for this podcast, I guess I was trying to I paid more attention to the lyrics than I did maybe as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
And this one, it seemed like it really just sort of even fits today a lot because it's kind of like how we're sort of how being indifferent or like there's so much going on that you just want to turn it off. You just don't want to listen to it anymore. You know, and I'm like listening to this, I'm like, man, I said, this is like actually kind of getting to me.
It makes me emotional. If I'm listening to this, if listening to the background, it's fine. It's just, it's a great song. But listening to it deeply and understanding it, it's put things in perspective, right? It's almost like Phil Collins recognizing and pointing out, his position of entitlement. Well, I'm a celebrity and I'm a star, but listen, there's one line I wrote down. While I sit and we talk and we talk and we talk some more, someone's loved one's heart stops beating in a street somewhere. Holy shit. Yeah, so we're hanging out and having a good time at a rock concert, but people are suffering and dying in the streets. Someone's mother just passed away. Bad things are happening all over. You can't just turn a blind eye to it. We have a long, long way to go. We're not a successful society yet. We have work to do because people still suffer. It's really heavy, and I love that message.
Which is why it was such a great choice for Live Aid at the time.
Right, I know. Right.
The whole famine in Ethiopia, that was stuff that was hitting some people hard, but a lot of other people were doing like what the lyric was talking about, just dismissing it out of hand and not even thinking about it or talking about it. But this song, can you imagine? And I've seen the Live Aid concert many times, but I don't remember seeing this part live on that day. But can you imagine Phil Collins and Sting up on stage, just the two of them, doing this song with that subject matter during the concert to try and help end the famine in Ethiopia?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and listening to Sting's background, what he's saying in that too is like, it's kind of heavy because it's like, turn it off if you want to, switch it off, it will go away. I mean, it's it's like, a lot of people are burying their head in the sand right now. It's not going to go away if you do that. It's still going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's no I want my MTV like you did with Dire Straits, but still, it's okay.
Okay. Let's lighten the tone a little bit, Mo. What's up next on side one?
Yeah, this next song definitely ups the beat again. Like he goes from somber back to kind of upbeat music, and it's I Don't Want to Know. Talk about an energetic song after that last one. It's such a switch. It's almost disconcerting a switch, to be quite honest. Like after that last song and jumping to this one, you're like, whoa, geez, that's a big jump.
I need the release after that last song. I need something upbeat after that. Let me just jump in and say why I love this song so much. This might be, you talked about your bottom 2 or 3, George, the 8, 9, 10s. This is in my top 3 on this album. I Don't Want to Know.
And this
is, and here's why. The song is great as a song. Again, listen to these songs 2 ways. In the background, in your car while you're talking, and then like focused listening, maybe reading the lyrics or paying attention to the words. So many pop songs are about, that girl or that boy that I want to be with or whatever. Yeah. And this is like, hey, I've been dumped, not going back to you. I don't care if you're lonely. I don't care if you're crying. I don't want to know. I am self-secure in this post-relationship. I am my own person. I don't need you to validate me. She can cry all she wants. She's not going to get me back. This is like an 85 version of We Are Never Getting Back Together by Taylor Swift. It's like, your friends talk to my friends, talk to me. We're never getting back together. I don't need you anymore. And I like that. Like, it's just so self-confident that it's an attitude that's missing in a lot of pop music. It's mostly longing and desirous, or I'm so sad because I'm devastated. And this is I'm okay. It's over. You're done with me. I'm done with you. Don't care how you feel anymore. And I like that kind of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, like most of the songs back then were like, she broke up and I'm depressed.
Yeah, right.
oh, what can I do to get her back? Or blah, blah, blah. This was like, we broke up. I'm moving on. I'm good with it. You know,
I don't want to hear your story. We're finished.
Yeah, we're not in a relationship anymore. This next song we're going to jump into is another big one, isn't it, John?
Yeah, and it's after how much I liked the last one. This one flips the script back to what we're used to. Still a great song, but not as confident a tone. This one is One More Night.
Please give me one more night. Give me one more night. One more night. 'Cause I can't move forever.
All right, now you sounded like with that comment right before you played that music, John, that you don't like this song as much, and I think we might be about to throw down, because if you don't like One More Night, we've got some fucking problems.
Keep in mind, as much as relative, it's still a great Phil Collins album, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it only is his second #1 single of all time, right after Against All Odds on the previous album and with the movie soundtrack and everything. So it obviously received a ton of accolades. I love this song, but since this was the one that you get to talk about in this segment, I guess I'll let you run your mouth for a little while and show how ignorant you are. Go ahead.
I guess you will. So I'm not, when I say it's very different tonally, I'm not speaking it's a worse song. I'm saying the position the song takes, for me, falls right back into that trope, right? It's the opposite of I Don't Want to Know. Whereas I Don't Want to Know was, oh, it's all over, we're finished, fine, we're moving on. And this is more, give me one more shot at being with you. Like a river to the sea, I will always be with you. And if you sail away, I will follow you. It is that, it sounds, as I read the lyrics, it either sounds like he wants to be together with this person, or was and isn't anymore and wants another shot at it, which I kind of think is the one more night. It's that longing thing. Is the song beautiful? Definitely. Is it listenable? Absolutely. It deserves its hit status. The part that George says I'm wrong about is that I don't like the tone of it after we've done something so original in the last song, and especially following back to back, it just is very stark contrast for me.
Well, yeah, and this song also is kind of like more what you call pure Phil Collins. You know, his whole balladeer songs that he's really well known for, and so of this whole first side, I think is the first one that kind of goes back to that what everyone really knows him for, right? Back before this album came out.
Yeah, and I've noticed a trend when we do these musical backtracks, when we pick an album or a concert or whatever it is we pick. John seems to get pissy about the songs where a man is longing for another woman. So there's something deep-seated in his past that causes him to be against that type of lyric or music, I think. So I'm no longer taking his critiques on these kinds of songs, because I think he's transferring some deep-seated trauma into his analysis of a great song, arguably one of Phil Collins' best on this particular album, next to Sussudio, I'll give you. But still, the fact that it's not a good, no, fuck off.
You keep saying I said it's a bad song, and I didn't. you keep, who's projecting? No, fantastic song.
Saying, you shit on a lot of the songs I like in these in these podcasts.
Well, sounds like maybe you had it coming.
Don't think so. We're going to get some letters written in. Ladies and gentlemen,
I can't wait.
George is Right campaign needs to start with this song again.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtuo Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your Virtuo Pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
New season, new chaos in college football.
Let's go! Big stage, big opportunity.
This Labor Day weekend, the wildness lives on ABC, ESPN, and the all-new ESPN app.
What a way to start!
Featuring top 10 teams like Clemson, Notre Dame, Alabama, and LSU, and Bill Belichick's debut at North Carolina.
It's so special when these teams collide.
Don't miss a lineup filled with electric matchups.
Welcome back to college football.
Kickoff week presented by Modelo. Labor Day weekend on ESPN and ABC. Also available to stream on the all-new ESPN app.
Each episode of Gen X Grown Up has show notes loaded with links where you can learn more about our topics. And there's even more to see and hear over at GenXGrownUp.com.
As we carried on making, more and more records, he was more and more au fait with the equipment in the studio, as some artists aren't necessarily interested in that. Technology-wise, it had come on since the first album, like electronic drums, and Phil was always we always wanted to have the latest stuff, so Roland drum machines and Simmons drum machines and sequencers and all that sort of thing. So I think there's only 2 or 3 songs on the album that he's playing real drums.
All right, everybody, after that debacle of John's incorrect information on the last side, we're going to jump right into side number 2. First song up on side number 2, as Mo would put his little needle down on the album, is Don't Lose My Number. Now, the only question I have on this song, because I really enjoyed it, it's one of my favorite songs on the album, is the Billy from this song the same Billie Jean from Michael Jackson's album?
I don't think
because
so.
Billie Jean seems to be an asshole, whoever Billy is.
Yep. Yeah. So first, kick off this side with the cool drum machine again. So love that. Which I know, weird. You got to think Phil Collins set up the drum machine with what he wanted to do because he's a drummer. Sure. But yeah,
I bet you it was the producer in the studio.
You think so? You don't think Phil did it?
So.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he might have, but still, I think the producer had a lot to do with it.
I always loved this song and again, I thought, well, I'm going to learn what Sussudio is. I'm going to learn what Don't Lose My Number is all about. And then I went researching. They sound like nonsense because they are. Yeah. Collins said it was a stream of consciousness writing and there's no real story or message. However, people have tried to find a through line and meaning in this song. You ready for this? I like it.
All right.
This song describes an outcast. They didn't know him. Well-meaning. He never meant to do anything wrong. Character, probably being wrongly accused. You know that I am on your side. By the society for an act they consider wrong. It's been going on for a while. It's going to get worse if you wait too long.
Jeez.
And in all likelihood is going to end badly for him. Oh, Billy, you better run for your life. Probably about a crime for which the primary suspect fled jurisdiction. That's the theory.
So this is a song about John Wayne Gacy then. Okay.
I'm not sure it's supposed to be a serial killer.
No, I get it.
But yeah, it does have this flow, and I think because maybe it was written with a stream of consciousness, that you can map your own story onto it, and that's what I always did as a kid, listening, and as an adult, and just map my own ideas onto it.
It definitely sounds like it's telling a story, though. Like when you hear the music, it sounds like it's telling a story.
Unintentionally, though, apparently.
And it's just the way it's formatted and the way it's put together. It just sounds like someone's telling us a saga of some sort. Have you guys seen the music video for this one?
Yeah,
I'm sure I must have. Yeah.
Oh, this is the one where since the song really didn't have a theme, he basically just made fun of all the other music videos out there.
Oh, the other acts. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And if people listen to it, I'll find a link to that one of the music videos. This one, it's really funny. Actually, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, Collins did he and Genesis both. They had some great music videos back in the early MTV days, no question. Yep. But you talked about this being stream of consciousness, and we're trying to maybe assign story where there might not be. I kind of think of that in the same way that when I used to take some writing classes in college, our professor, I remember in particular, we had an assignment where the professor would start a sentence on the board, and it was our job to write the next sentence, and then another person write the next sentence, and so on and so forth. It's a pretty common writing exercise. And what you would find is, even though no one had anything pre-planned for the story would develop as people brought their own inner selves to the storyline. And so even though it's a stream of consciousness, one person writing after another, and in this case, him writing the lyric one after another, the story comes from within. So he may not have planned it. I'm sure he didn't, because he said he didn't, but that doesn't mean that a story didn't come from somewhere and didn't start to coalesce. I bet if you give him 2 or 3 months on those lyrics, a story does develop in his mind that he could assign to what he wrote and maybe fine tune some lyrics and something. I'm glad he didn't. I like the song as is, but still, I know stream of conscious means, I wasn't really planning on anything, but that doesn't mean it didn't have a story to me.
I like that I can map my own thing onto it. It's not so concrete. And it almost means over time, it might mean something different to you as you move through your life, which works too. Leaving it a little open-ended can help in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
All right. Mo, you want to move us along to the next track?
Oh, sure. I mean, so again, this is a little bit punchier song, a bit livelier song here again. It's Who Said I Would?
But she's got a heart that's been made of stone. So when I tell her that she'll miss me when I'm gone, she says, who said I would?
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely got some Sussudio vibes from this one.
Yes, I can hear that. Yeah, I hear that.
You know, it's like that whole punchy, that in the opening to it. You know, once it got to the whole instrumental piece, again. The horns again. Like I definitely was like, okay, like so. To me, in a way, this song actually disappointed me a little bit because it reminded me so much of Sussudio in a way. You know, and I was like, oh, it's kind of the same song twice in a way.
Yeah.
For me, it had a defiant tone. The title alone. Who said I would? Fuck you people. That's, I mean, now granted, maybe that's
George's anthem,
argumentative George throwing himself into the song, but still, it's like, who the hell said I would do this or do that or whatever? That's what I was getting out of it when I first heard the song.
Yeah, this is one of those, you've already been roasting me, George, over this relationship, my attitude toward relationships. This is another, you said, a lot of relationship songs on this. And this is another facet, and I like it because it's not the typical relationship song. It's not just lamenting and longing for kind of thing. This is like a relationship where it's on again, off again. I feel like maybe he gets used and dumped a lot. Whether it's, maybe she gets what she wants, whether it's sex or companionship or validation or money or whatever. And there's this line, you're not the only one, but you'll do fine. Ouch! Ow! Damn, that hurts. Heart must be made of stone. She'll miss me when I'm gone. But yeah, it's this kind of like, I'm a glutton for punishment. I keep coming back. Who said I would? But I do. He can't escape this relationship. But you almost feel like he likes it, but he doesn't like how it makes him feel. Maybe.
Yeah. I definitely got almost like other people are telling him that this relationship's bad. He's not listening kind of vibe. She's like, she's got a heart, must be made of stone. It's like, okay, that's where you go. And this one definitely seems like it to me. It also brings us the most probably 80s song up there with maybe Sussudio. I think on the album, like it just when I hear it, I just think 80s. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a tight song. Again, being like Sussudio, I never considered them to be copies of each other. You said you're like, they're a little too much the same. Because I kind of listen more tonally, the story base. I never consider them to be so identical. I guess like instrumentation, they're kind of similar, but yeah, I like it. And before I knew what the lyrics meant, I was like you, George, that defiant, like, who the hell said I would care about, whatever it is, whatever. And so when I listened to it, it almost changed, like, oh no, I was treating this song differently. I thought it was a defiant thing, and it's more of someone who's a little bit trapped, and he's trying to use the defiance as a way to shield him from the fact that he's trapped. And it's good storytelling in these with very little lyrics, good storytelling. And I appreciate that in this whole album.
Yeah. So moving on to the next song, it's definitely one of the more poignant, I guess I'll call it, songs on the album.
Yes. Yeah. This next one is directly inspired by what was going on in Colin's life at the time and around him. This is Doesn't Anybody Stay Together Anymore? I'm going to kick off talking about this one by talking about some of its origin that I learned preparing for this show. It was inspired by a discussion Collins had with his manager Tony Smith and producer Hugh Padgham about the number of divorces happening among their friends. They realized that many couples they knew were separating, leading to the central question of this song, doesn't anybody stay together anymore? He was frustrated by the state of marriage in his circle of people.
Yeah, it was a very hot topic in the mid 80s, right? We were just coming out of the 60s, 70s era where families traditionally would stick together. It wasn't a national conversation of divorce.
Right.
But certainly in the 80s with latchkey children, and kids running wild on the street and everything, divorce was a very hot topic. So I can understand, and I can probably imagine them sitting around in the studio when they're maybe even working on this album or something like that later, just, oh God, this person got divorced, that person got divorced, their kids are going to be.
Oh, did you hear they're breaking up now?
Yeah. What's it going to do to the kids? All this kind of stuff. I can see how this song comes about pretty easily.
One of the things I really liked about this song, though, is how it kind of starts off with like a really strong instrumental, and then when the vocal comes in, it's almost like someone turns the volume down. It like
kind of drops out.
It drops out and kind of keeps. I just love that whole tone of this one.
Yeah, there's some heavy lyrics in here that I really appreciate and enjoy. I made a couple of notes. Genius writing. Your heart's on your sleeve, but your sleeve's rolled up. That's some great imagery. Your glass is empty and the chips are down. Kind of not only two different ways to talk about how you're down on your luck, but also you picture, well, it's probably at a bar, gambling, escaping the realities. So your glass is empty and the chips are down at the same time. It just paints this picture in so few words. And and it has that and it's not that he was immune from those sorts of relationship issues, but he's looking out, witnessing relationships falling apart and questioning the very institution of marriage and why is it changing? Like you were saying, it was the 80s. You had two separate incomes now, and so it was now possible. Women didn't feel so trapped if marriages weren't good. There were all kinds of factors, and he's not trying to answer the question here. He's just saying, what the heck is going on with marriage and with couples and families? And it's not super heavy, but it's contemplative and it's thoughtful.
You mentioned that lyric at the beginning, and I was just waiting for you to go through your thought because I didn't want to interrupt because it was a good thought. But you talked about the one where, heart on the sleeve, sleeve rolled up. Yeah. I always wondered if that lyric didn't inspire the Bare Naked Ladies lyric where they say, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I have a tendency to lose my shirt.
Oh, interesting. Well, they both work with heart on the sleeve. I'm sure it
probably didn't, separate,
but you connect
inspirational
them.
things, but it's a great lyrical choice to tie those two kinds of acts together that are strictly emotional, doesn't have any basis in reality, but still tying the emotional part to the physical act is funny to me.
Okay. Well, we're in the contemplative mode. George, why don't you take us along to the next track on this album? Just a couple left.
Yeah. Next one is a person who is living in a land of confusion. Haha. See what I did there? Nice. This is Inside Out. The song starts off with the title, which is interesting, but the entire basis of all the lyrics are all just about how confusing everything is in and around his world and how he keeps trying to fight back a little bit against it, but it's still just the whole time of everything's twisting him around, got him turned inside out, so to speak. There's a line that I found, I'm going to find it again here. Now everybody's got me running around up and down, and here I am going out of my mind, but I won't lose sight of all the things I'm looking for. They're coming to me, and I'm taking what's mine. So he's getting tossed and turned around in this storm of upheaval, but he's not quitting. He's not giving up. So I like this song because even though it's one of my lower songs on the album, I'll say again, even though this one might be in my bottom third of songs, every song on the album is better than 90% of what was out there at the time.
It's all relative.
And from those lyrics you were just quoting, it always made me feel that this song was a little bit about his challenge to go solo and pull himself to the spotlight out of Genesis. All my life I've been searching and hanging on, turning a corner and never knowing what I would find. And then the part that you just read about how taking what is mine kind of thing, I saw that as, he's always been, for as long as we've known him, he's been a star, he's been a celebrity, whether it was in Genesis or not, but staking his own claim and making his own thing made me feel like maybe there was some conflict in that internally for him. And I could be projecting, is maybe how I'm thinking about him, but that's how I always thought of this song, was a little autobiographical about setting out on his own. Now, though this is the third album, he was well established, still the feelings might have been there.
Yeah, I just love the way the song kind of plays the two sides against each other, because you get the whole inside out, refrain that's always with the big horns, and then when he comes with his lyrics, it's almost like very soft, calm, lyric.
Almost that dropout again a little bit.
Then it goes back to the loud part. Then it goes back
and
to
he
the
has that feathery, soft voice. Like you can't, you got to amp him up. You want to hear him over loud music. You know, he's not a strong voice. He's more almost a haunting voice, which I like.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I'm not to throw shade at your thoughts about him leaving Genesis. He didn't really leave Genesis at this point.
That's fair. Yeah, he just set out on his own.
He was still
separately.
in
That's
Genesis.
fair.
They were just doing separate things.
Yeah.
So maybe, even though it might not have been about him leaving Genesis because he didn't, but maybe it was just about him trying to figure out his single way in the world, having been a part of such a cohesive unit for so long. Because the truth of the matter is, Collins has said in interviews early on in the 80s, 90s, and after that he never wanted to be the front man of anything.
Yeah.
He really just wanted to play the drums and be in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Gabriel was an obvious choice for the front man of that band when they were all together. Yeah, he is Mr. Frontman, right? But I mean, I wonder if this was more of a reaction to him being thrust into that role against his wishes. Because everybody was pulling at him. The music labels were certainly wanting him to go. I mean, every time there's a successful band with a lead singer, what does the music company want to do? Hey, let's take him out of here and put him on his own, and we can control him more, and we can make more money off of him, and all that bullshit. I wonder if this song might have been in reference to that. I don't know when it was written, because this is his third singles album. So it's not like, he's, by the time this album comes out, it's not as though he hasn't been in that world for a while. It just depends on when the song was written.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I always took the song as just living, like just normal life, where it's like sometimes you feel like the things are calm, and then other times it's just things are just not going the way you expect, or you're having to deal with it. And when I heard the song, I always kind of took it those two ways. Like, there's the crazy part, and then there's like, okay, here's what I need to have happen. Then here's the crazy part. Here's what I need to have happen. And that back and forth.
Whew. Well, if that's heavy, it's not going to get any lighter as we move on to one of the great and final tracks on this album. Mo, why don't you take us through the last one?
Oh, yeah. This is one of my favorite songs on the whole album. Super energetic, really great tempo on it. It's Take Me Home. When we started doing research for this, I always thought the song was just simply about being homesick and when you go back home. Apparently it has a lot more behind it, where he said, I read that it was inspired by One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the Ken Kesey novel, and of an institutionalized patient waiting to go home, not just about some person at college waiting to go back home. I mean,
that
like,
angle.
It's. I'm like, I have to listen to these lyrics again because I didn't grab that the first time.
Damn. Well, first I got to shout out those tribal drums, the toms and the bongos at the beginning, which is just really great. But this is a weird track to end an album on, in my opinion. It's kind of depressing is the wrong word. Resigned. It's like hours run together and the days run together and they slip by. I can't remember. It's like you're resigned with your lot in life despite what's happening to you. For such an upbeat bunch of other songs that led into it, it's always seemed like a weird, and the CD was better when I added a song after this. You get something to cleanse your palate, but this is what it leaves you on, and it's a little bit somber.
I mean, I don't think that's unusual for Collins. He was known to be a very somber person during this period of his life, so that doesn't surprise me at all. I just wanted to point out a couple of trivia points to this. This is another Miami Vice song.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
Again, this one was in The Prodigal Son, that episode, so I need to go watch that now. This was also one of the songs that had some stars doing the backing vocals. Again, Sting, and this time Peter Gabriel as well, which we talked about earlier. So this song had a lot of power behind it. And I think that maybe this is why it was such a powerful song of the time.
It is powerful.
Yeah. I mean, the lyrics I know are, like I get what you're saying, it's got that somber mood to it and everything. But at the same time, just when you couple the lyrics along with the title, it makes me feel like the person just like, okay, I'm done with all this bullshit we just went through for 9 songs. Just take me home.
Yeah. It's this feeling of like, it is another juxtaposition where the lyrics talk about, they have this dull life, day in and day out, and then, cranking at the wheel, no real dreams or passions or anything. But then the chorus, just take me home. It's like Calgon, take me away. It's like, I long for something better and more, but I'm stuck here.
He just needs the respite.
Yeah. I need out. I need something else. Yeah.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Introducing the perfect companion to your morning listening routine. AG1's clinically backed formula is now flavor-packed with 3 new delicious flavors: tropical, berry, and citrus. Start the day on a high note with probiotics that taste like the tropics. Mix it up with micronutrients that taste like berry or citrus. And take it all the way back with the classic, AG1 Original, with notes of pineapple and vanilla. Do your health a flavor, or 4, with AG1 Next Gen, the daily health drink. Learn more at drinkag1.com.
If you're a die-hard Gen X grown-up, you can pledge your support by clicking join on YouTube or by becoming a patron at genxgrownup.com/Patreon.
The Grammy for Album of the Year is for excellence in production and performance on an LP. And the Grammy goes to the artist and the album producer.
How do we do this now? Let's vote.
Show of hands.
No show of hands. No jacket required. Phil Collins. Steve Patrick. Am I glad I bought this tux? Yeah. I got some new shoes and everything, I said all my thank yous earlier, really, because I didn't think I'd get another chance, but I would like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank the Academy sincerely for making this a very special night for me. This is more than I dreamed of. And I'd like again to thank Hugh Padgham, who produced the album with me. And I feel very privileged to be able to do something that I love and get paid for it. And on the odd occasion, get something like this. So thank you very, very much.
We have walked through Phil Collins' No Jacket Required track by track and shared our thoughts on it. But before we leave you, what has become a tradition on these album backtracks is each of us has selected a track to champion. It is our favorite track on the album. And I tell you, we had a planning meeting last week. All right, who's going to pick what? And somebody said whatever they picked first. And that guy said, damn, because there's so many great songs that we all kind of wanted. But I think we all settled on ones that make us happy. George, why don't we start with you? What's the track you'd like to champion from this album?
100% I am happy to champion the track One More Night. So
I get it.
A number 1 track from this album. It's beautiful. The lyrics are super strong in this one. And John, you talked often about how Phil Collins has that kind of soft, almost you have to crank him up just to hear him kind of voice type of thing. This song is, I guess it means a lot to me for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it's Phil Collins and it's on this album, and I love this album and I love Phil Collins. Number 2, it was also in one of my favorite movies, on one of my favorite movie soundtracks of all time, Color of Money. This song is one of the reasons why I pushed so hard for that movie soundtrack to be so high up when we did that top 10 list. That
because of this track?
Had a lot of controversy. A lot of people were like, Color of Money. I was like, I don't care. I'm throwing all my fucking beans at Color of Money. This song was one of the reasons. It is beautiful. It's melodic. It's remorseful. It's hopeful. It's everything that Phil Collins seems to be as a lyricist and a singer, all tied together in one song. And I think that may be one of the reasons why it hit number 1, because this is not your typical #1 US Billboard type of song, right? It's not super flashy. It doesn't have controversial lyrics at all.
No.
It's just a really soft, to Mo's point, balladeer type
just
of
damn
song.
good.
It's just,
Yeah.
Good one.
But it's one of the more perfect examples of that style of singing and thought processing and emotions. I love everything about this song. There are other great songs on this album that we're probably going to talk about in the next couple of points. But for me, this song is definitely a reason to buy this album.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, George. I mean, also, this seems to be like a song just made for Phil Collins' voice. You know, it just seems like it was just, I mean, of course he wrote it, so I'm sure he made it for him, but you know, it just seemed like it was just a perfect vehicle for his
It
story.
lends itself so well to his particular forte.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. No,
Even
no
though
question.
John doesn't like it and he wants to
I know,
whine
John
and
keeps talking about how much
complain
he
about
hates
it.
not
this
what I
song. I
said.
can't believe that.
I mean, yeah, he is pleading a little bit. Give me one more night. Give me just one more night. I get that he's pleading. But there's something to be said about a person who is trying so desperately to hold on to an emotion that may be keeping them afloat. We talked about the songs about divorce and everything else, and, you know, the song Spinning Me Inside Out.
Yeah.
This song is him trying to hold on before those desperate measures take place. And I think that is more courageous than almost any other song on the album, because if this song is sung and written from a place of things that are going on in his life, imagine bearing your soul that way in this song as the writer and the singer for a person who never wanted to be the front man to begin with.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So
I understand your position.
Yeah, fuck off. All right, fine. Mister, I've got something better and this song's not so great. What the hell do you want to champion?
Again, not exactly what I said, but if that's what you heard, that's okay. I probably, maybe I was the second to pick, but I got away with picking what is easily one of the favorite songs on this album. And it's the title track, not the title track, the first track on the album, Sussudio. And it just kicks off, it does so many things right for me. It's the one that I'm going to champion. It kicks off the album really well. It lets you know what you're in for. You have that drum loop, you have the horns that permeate this album in some form or fashion. It's so upbeat, it's so hopeful. And as much as I am kind of dogging on the, longing relationship kind of thing, this is like the more enthusiastic version of that. I've got to get closer, but I don't know how. Give me a chance, give me a sign. I'll show her anytime. I almost feel like I have mapped this song onto every crush I've ever had since I first heard it, because it's like, oh my goodness, this is it's such a great person I want to get closer to. I'll do anything to get closer. It is not mournfully longing. It's just hopeful. Like, I can't wait to find a way to get on the inside with you and to understand what it's like to be close to you. And it's so positive. And if you don't listen to any of that, it's just a damn good beat to dance to and to bop your head along to in the car. It's just a great rock song that has layers under it that make me continue to enjoy it the more I listen to it. So that's why I chose Sussudio.
Man, George, you're right. There is some deeper psychological issues here going on.
Right? Honestly, John, if this song is the preamble to a relationship, then my song could be the epilogue.
No doubt. Without a doubt. Certainly.
Maybe put the songs together that way, and maybe you'll finally have a realistic appreciation of what I chose to champion. Because honestly, Sussudio is one of the best songs on the album. It was
great,
another number one hit.
That's right.
It definitely deserved it. I get that it's some nonsensical word, but
that's okay.
When you're trying to pursue a relationship, who isn't out of their fucking mind?
Yeah. I get a little tongue-tied trying to say your name. Why not? Sure.
So for me, that fits.
Yep. What was her name? Susan Sussudio? I don't know. Something. I love her. She's great.
I don't know. I saw her on a train. I need to go get with her so that we can break up later and I can be begging for one more night.
I've made up this crazy name just while I'm out there seeking you. Yeah. Okay. So mine's Sussudio. Mo, why don't you go ahead and round us out? What is the track you're going to champion from No Jacket Required?
So my track is Take Me Home. I mean, just put it out there. And the reason why this is actually is a little more story, because I bought this album probably when it came out, like early days of it coming out. And Take Me Home was not an early hit on this album. You know, matter of fact, I think it was released as a single like way afterwards. And so
a year later.
Yeah. And I always loved this song. I had a friend in college that we kind of bonded the fact that we both were like, this is the best song on the album. I'm like, yeah, I know. Nobody listens to it. It's not even on the radio. What the hell's wrong with people? And then it released as a single, but like much later. And then it was on the radio. You heard it everywhere. And then we're like, we knew this before everybody else. Like we appreciate this damn song. You guys are coming later. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And so that's why I appreciate it. I say this is like one of my favorite songs on the album. I'm championing it.
You know, Mo, it's funny that you say it that way because that's the exact way I feel about Shameless from the Billy Joel Stormfront album that later became the mega hit for Garth Brooks or whatever the hell that and you're like, cheating motherfucker's name is from stealing Billy Joel's awesome song. But still, I felt the same way. You felt like you had this inside track on something that nobody else was really appreciating.
We're real fans.
And then as soon as it hits, everybody's like, oh, this is so awesome. And you're like, fuck you. I knew this ahead of time.
Bandwagon jumper.
Yeah, I know, exactly. You don't appreciate them like I do.
You know what's really interesting? We each championed a different track, and we each championed that track for a very different reason. Isn't that interesting? Very different reason. Not just, it's my favorite song. It's like we have some ingrained reasons, the kind of history, and I think that's really fascinating. Well, once again, whenever we do these, this album is going right back at the top of my rotation list. I've been listening to it for a while, and because of that, you know, YouTube Music's going to start putting it in my super playlist, and so I'm going to hear it, and I don't care. I'm happy with that. That's great. Guys, thank you for taking the time to walk through Phil Collins' No Jacket Required 40th anniversary of this album. Once again, just got to remind you of that. I know listeners love to give us feedback on these. They enjoy these musical backtracks. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as we enjoyed going through it. Before we leave you, I want to take a second to thank another brand new supporter over on Patreon. I want to send out a huge thank you from all three of us to Israel G, who joined us on Patreon.
Oh, awesome.
And again, it's super simple. He just headed over to patreon.com/GenXGrownUp, filled out a little bit. For as little as $1 a month, you can set up a recurring supportive contribution to make sure that Gen X Grown Up is able to keep doing what we do here on the podcast, over on YouTube, and on the website. We love you so much, patrons. And Israel, thank you for joining that squad. Could not be happier with you.
Awesome.
That then is going to wrap it up for this backtrack edition of the Gen X Grown Up podcast. But don't worry. If you were worried, please don't worry. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another one. Next week is the standard edition of our show. Until then, I'm John. George, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yes, sir.
Mo, you know I appreciate you, brother.
Always fun, man.
Fourth listener, it is you we all three appreciate most of all. I cannot wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Take care, everybody.
No life, no fun. Don't you know that you're a grown up?
Gen X Grown Up is a member of the Evergreen Podcast family. Learn more at evergreenpodcasts.com.
No more watching shows till sunrise. Unacceptable for grown ups. Your dinner cannot just be French fries. Basically, life sucks as a grown up.
All right, let's go with the opening segment. The hardest segment of this entire show is this one because it's real work. The rest is listening to music and react, as we have learned. All right, we have walked through Phil Jockins required. Phil Jockins required.